Wake your ass up
or take a damn nap.
And we're the three best friends that anybody could have.
It's time.
I mean, Sean, you were twerking. That's going to happen.
Murph, don't be a dick all your life.
It's one of the more fun podcasts I've ever done.
Hey, I tell you what, if you're not talking about sports in the man cave, I bet not say you not a man.
That's it.
Four-man rush. Young too high. And is it an interception? Yes, it is. Brian Cook managed to catch it before it hit the turf.
Man, episode 110 of Stories Inside the Man Cave, and I still have yet to figure out all these Brady Bunch boxes and covering up the logo and all that. But, yeah, we've got a reunion with HardballHardge. He's dressed up to the nines because of he's a multi-talented type of guy. He's about to announce Tarleton State, Stephen F. Austin, and one of my friends from the old school, fellow SFA lumberjack, making his career all the way to the college football playoff with the Cincinnati Bearcats, Perry Eliano. It is an honor of mine for you to take some time after a tremendous season you just had with the Cincinnati Bearcats.
Appreciate that, Sean. Really do. Appreciate that.
Well, you're welcome. And Jim Saxton, State Farm Insurance Agency, is our episode 110 sponsor. Of course, I have to let some people in on this. I'm sitting here all alone. I can't defend myself. I am being attacked by the K-Town Mafia here. Killeen, Ellison representing by both of these two guys. And so that adds to the flavor to this. Perry, you being the younger one. Hardge, I'm sorry. You're the elder statesman in this. But
yeah.
Perry, right before this, said, I know who you are.
I had to come in and represent. As soon as Sean told me that we were interviewing you, Perry, I was like, for sure, I'm definitely jumping on this because, whenever I get to see Killeen people doing great things, right, it's very appreciative and it makes me feel good. It humbles me because of the fact we know how hard it is in that place that we call home and what it takes to get out there. But we got a lot of brothers and sisters that around that town that always look out for one another. And I'm proud of you. I'm very happy for the accomplishments of which you have had and going to continue to do. And, Sean said, hey, we're getting ready to have Perry on. I'm like, yeah, I got time. I'll make time today to get in here and represent with you, bro. So welcome.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Perry, just one thing, just to let everyone know this, to background. Obviously, Killeen Ellison, that's here in Central Texas, or as Hardge says, the 254.
Hello.
Hello. Played at Stephen F. Austin. You guys had a tremendous amount of talent during your years there. And then your coaching career started. And like so many coaches who have it up here, you stick to it. You work your way up. I mean, UT San Antonio, you helped launch that program. You other places, all the way across the country to now Cincinnati with Luke Fickell. What has this journey been like, and what's your advice to these younger aspiring coaches who want to take the same path?
I think just hard work and dedication to your craft. I was blessed and fortunate enough to be around some really, really good coaches in high school. And from there, just, being able to play at SFA and be around some tremendous coaches and a great culture and build lifelong relationships. And then, I knew I wanted to coach. And I think just hard work and a commitment and not looking at the bright lights and, all those things, but doing it because you love what you do. And I think if you love what you do and you love making an impact on young men and coaching this great game of football, then you'll be rewarded when it's time. And I think that's the biggest thing is just don't be so fast to try to climb that ladder so fast. Enjoy the steps, because there's lesson along each and every step that you take. So that would be my advice. And, I just think that, I know what it is to line the fields and take the, crash pads and the pop-ups out and wipe the cobwebs off of them and get them ready for camp. So I've done it all. No job was ever too big or too small for me. And I'm just thankful to be in the opportunity and the situation I'm in right now.
Coach P, I wanted to ask you this because, you said some things there about being around some good coaches early and being able to realize that you wanted to be a coach. So where did that step in that process happen? Because it's not normal for most people everybody wants to be the star. Everybody wants to be the leader and be the one that's going to the league and, being the player part of it. But being the coach and being a teacher of the craft in which you have become right now, what was the process in that step?
Well, obviously the influence of the coaches outside of my father, those were the male figures that I looked up to. So, John Baseda, bless his heart, rest in peace. Coach Cunningham, Coach Wetzel, Coach Walker, Coach Haney, Coach Wadaki, rest his soul. There was just so many.
Man, you about to bring a tear to my eye. You didn't talk about all my people. You didn't talk about all my people.
No doubt. So for me, Coach Farley, who didn't say a whole lot, but just his presence, was so impactful. So for me, that made a huge impression on me, and just in my journey, in my development outside of my father, I looked up to those men, and they were great men that taught me a lot. And so, I just want to pay it forward. And so for me, I take a lot of those life lessons from high school and my college career, and I apply them on a daily basis, to the young men that I coach.
Perry, the Rise, we watched it. We knew it going in the preseason that Cincinnati has historically had a good football program, but it was always labeled for some reason a mid-major in the shadows of Ohio State. But these last with Fickell and you guys, he's put together a tremendous staff. And you've been in the Mid-American Conference before. What do they call the cradle of coaches? But the Rise of Cincinnati, all that pressure, because you lose once, you're out of the discussion. But is that added pressure? And also that defense, unbelievable, as you saw in that clip against Alabama through 3.5 quarters.
Well, I think it all started, Sean, back in 2020, to be honest with you, where, we had some guys that had to make a decision. Did they want to really, really play in 2020? And, we had a great group of leaders, and our best players were our leaders. And so that always helps. But we came together then and in camp, and, we made the run and went 9-0 and, obviously lost to Georgia on the last second field goal in the Peach Bowl. And, we had several guys, high-end guys that were NFL guys that had to make a decision. Do I want to do this again and come back? And lo and behold, all of them outside of 2 guys, did. And with that being said, we went into the spring ball and, our guys just worked. And we knew we had a good team, Sean. We knew we had a good team. We knew we had the ability to do some phenomenal things. But we knew there were going to be a lot of hurdles, a lot of things that could potentially, get us off track. But, I think Coach Fickell obviously did a tremendous job with, the vision. And for us, really and truthfully, the vision was set: high tides raise all ships. That was our war cry in the very beginning of spring. And our guys took that and ran with it. And we had, like I said, tremendous leaders that no matter what, we wasn't going to allow the outside noise to deter us from, if we just took care of business on the field, no matter how ugly they said it was, or, well, you got to do this, you do that. We just stayed focused as a coaching staff, as a program, as young men on our football team. And with that, obviously there was some challenges, which anytime you're trying to make a run, a championship run, there's going to be, and we call those character building moments. And so you mentioned pressure. Well, we looked at pressure as pressure's a privilege. And so there's a lot of programs that don't have that, don't feel that, don't know what that looks like. And so here at Cincinnati, we know what that looks like. We know what that feels like. And our guys embrace it, and we embrace it as coaches. And so, what you saw is a byproduct of what we had been building since January, when we got back on the plane in Atlanta, Georgia, and landed back in Cincinnati, and knew in 2021 what we were capable of doing.
When I was at Killeen Ellison, our defensive back room, they called themselves the air traffic controllers. And, you know, they were ball hawking and they were trying to make plays, led by Othello Henderson. You know, he was making his mark. And I look at what your defense did this year, especially in the secondary. You got a Thorpe Award winner. You got some guys that are going to be high-level NFL players, and you're at the center of that. Now, obviously, we know the talent is there, and all you got to do is corral that. And that goes to you recruiting, that goes to you developing, and that goes to you teaching. So talk about your defensive back room and how talented that group is and the expectations that you put on them and what they put on themselves.
Well, you said it right there, Mike. It starts, you got to have some talent. And I think the thing that sometimes get lost in that is you can have talent as a coach, but you got to be able to develop that talent and to allow young men that have great ability to be able to play fast and slow the game down in their mind. And so really and truthfully, those guys, to ask an 18 to 21-year-old young man to open his heart and mind to another grown man and give him everything you got every day, even though there's days when they may not want to hear exactly what you had to say because they're in the wrong, but they know at the end of the day, it's going to get them to where they want to go. I think it starts there with our relationship. We knew we had talent back there. And the thing I love about those young men is they wanted to be great. They didn't just want to be good. They didn't want to just say, hey, they wanted to be great. And so we developed some things in the off season, some football classes, what we call Football 500, which really, we took it to a whole nother level in teaching to really stretch them mentally. If you really want to be great, if you really want to do what you say you want to do, we're really going to put a lot of things upon you and a lot of expectations and stretch you. And it's going to be uncomfortable. And the thing I love about them, they embraced it. And so for me to walk up in the position room day in and day out and have a group of young men that have fire in their eyes and are hungry to be the best day in and day out. Every day wasn't peaches and cream, but we call those character building moments. And they embraced it. And I think as we continue to have success and, you know, they made plays on game days, which was it was no shock for us because our whole deal was the separations and the preparation, you know, and so if you prepare the way you need to prepare with the talent we have, we can do great things. And so the byproduct is what the whole nation saw week in and week out from some young men. And I was blessed enough to just be around young men that, you know, I got a chance to coach my first Jim Thorpe Award winner in Kobe Bryant, who was a phenomenal leader. I love him with everything I got. And then Ahmad Sauce Gardner, who, you know, consensus All-American and Defensive Player of the Year. And I mean, everything we had upon us, you know, they stayed focused. And then Brian Cook, who, you know, didn't play a ton because he had two NFL guys in front of him, you know, that, you know, one went to the Redskins and when one went to the Arizona Cardinals. So he waited his turn, but he took advantage of his turn. And so, you know, what you saw is just a byproduct of the hard work, the dedication and the commitment these young men have. And we're great to coach. Like, you know, you've been around great players that you can't stand Sunday through Friday.
Right.
Sunday through Saturday, you love being around them because they had a heart of gold and they wanted to be the best. And they were great examples and leaders for our younger guys coming up in the program.
And know what it's all about. I like that right there.
Absolutely.
Hey, Perry, you mentioned, well, Hardge, before I transition to that, I've got to admit, I watched about 6 Cincinnati games this year. And I know there's a little bias toward that reason, but after I let that go, the Perry Eliano tie to it, I was just watching strictly from fundamentals of football. And as you mentioned, it is a simple joy in this modern era to watch hard-nosed defense and everyone really on the same page working for one mutual goal. And that kind of leads me to this. You mentioned the word byproduct. Hardge, you mentioned it too. We're a byproduct of who we surround ourselves with and build our foundation. This right here, I want to pull this graphic up. The SFA Coaching Fraternity. It's a long one. But for the college football playoff, you had yourself, Drew Svoboda, and then the son of one of your teammates, Mana Smith, who had a decent game in the Rose Bowl. The guy is going to make, I don't know how many millions. Hardge and I were talking about this yesterday. Unbelievable. This fraternity that you're a part of, and I know a lot of schools can mention it, but just that foundation of building you as a coach from the SFA Coaching Fraternity.
You know, first when I first stepped on campus at SFA, I mean, you know, you're in awe because you got, you know, the Mike Quinns of the world, the Jeremiah Trotters of the world, the Larry Eccles of the world, rest in peace. You know, just CJ, you know, coming off the edge. I mean, you got Aaron Della Torre. You got so many guys that I came in and I'm like, wow. And then you got, you know, Coach Pierce. And then you got Gene Chizik, who, you know, was my position coach. And I mean, you know, that's where it really started for me, Sean. I mean, when I stepped on campus and, you know, you're in that meeting room with Gene Chizik, you better be on it. You better know your stuff. You better be like, I mean, didn't matter if you were a freshman, it didn't matter. You know, all he saw was if you want to be great, you want to be the best, it's going to start with your work ethic, your habits, just extremely detailed. And so that's where it started for me as far as just really, really molding me into, you know, the player I became. And then also, you know, obviously some coaching philosophies, but it was so good to, you know, see, you know, Drew, you know, and actually, you know, it was really, really cool because we had an event on the Wednesday of the championship game, the Cotton Bowl. And I was able to spend time with Drew and his wife and my wife at this event. And it brought back so many memories. And I was just happy for Drew, and he was happy for me. And, you know, it was just a cool moment that two SFA alums were sitting in Dallas, Texas at an event, getting ready to play each other in 48 hours in the Cotton Bowl, you know, to have an opportunity to play in the national championship. So, you know, there's a long laundry list of great SFA guys. Mata Smith, you know, I remember him like it was yesterday. Just, you know, he had one speed, go, you know, and to see everything come full circle with his son, to have a great experience in the Rose Bowl and to be as productive and to set records like he did in the Rose Bowl. What a cool moment.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you this because you brought it up. You talked about coaching a Thorpe Award winner and the first one. And, you know, it's kind of one of those situations where it looks like that money about to be looking a little bit better for you there, dog. Because if I'm coaching Thorpe Award winners, they going to have to come up off of something. and you putting all these guys in the NFL. Again, man, listen, it's not too often that I see so many guys from our area that are able to go out and teach and do things like that. And you need to be applauded for that because of the fact we know how tough coaching is. We know how you know, it ebbs and flows, and your career started back where you went to school. By the way, SFA has always recruited the Killeen area very, very well. They are willing to come out there and get some kids from Killeen, Texas, because they know the work ethic's going to be there. The hard-nosed play is going to be there, and we're going to give everything we have. But again, when you can go out and teach the way that you have, learn the things that you had throughout your career and spread that. And again, get that big-time player, dog. That's good. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Appreciate that. Thank you. I mean, it's been a blessing for me.
I love it.
Hey, Perry and Hardge, we're gonna pay tribute. We got to onboard our new real quick before we hit the man cave story. I can't wait what direction Perry's going to go with this because there's all kinds of ways. But we got a new partner in crime right here. Here we go.
Hey, y'all. Kevin Hutchison here with Realty Austin, and I am grateful to be a part of Stories Inside the Man Cave, a homegrown podcast just like my own business.
Yeah, Kevin Hutchison, just call him Hutch. Low-key guy, knows the area. And I think real estate, I think it's kind of a big industry here in Central Texas. But
hey, Sean, pause real quick.
Yeah.
Why in the hell am I frozen every time?
I was about to ask you the same thing.
I'm like, what am I doing? Maybe it's because of the hotel that I'm in. Maybe it's because I think I should have checked out like 2 hours ago and I'm still in here stealing internet. But I'm looking at this damn thing and I'm like, what is happening? I know Perry's like, who am I talking to? A ghost?
I was looking at Perry. I was about to say something. I was like, man, Hardge ain't moving.
All right, carry on, my brother. Carry on.
Perry and Hardge just witnessed to at least 70, 80 of these, but the Man Cave story brought to you by Jim Sachs, the State Farm Insurance Agency. These stories are usually comical, inspiring, hilarious. Sometimes we can't stop laughing, but is there any one or any 1A or 1B Man Cave story that you remember that you love talking about from your playing, coaching career, or something in your family that you love sharing with people?
Well, I have to go back to SFA. I never forget this. So when I was at SFA, you know, there was always these Sunday meetings after a game, and Coach Pierce back then, you know, he had the telestrator and he was running the special teams meeting. And so I'm a freshman, and so I'm not understanding why every Sunday, no matter what, guys that wasn't on special teams would come in there and sit in the back. And so there was a situation, I forgot which team we were playing, and Coach was talking about the punt team. And, you know, he's going on, and Coach Pierce has got his pointer, and he's saying, you know, hey, who gave the call for the protection? And I mean, it's about 30-some guys, and it's dead silence. Like, hold on, guys. Who gave the call to change the protection? And so out of the crowd, you know, one of our personal protector guys said, Coach, I don't know. I just heard a voice. So he says, oh. What do you mean you heard a voice? You know, I mean, how would you change the protection? So he's going on, and he's doing on the telestrator, and I'm sitting there like, I'm like, oh my gosh, somebody's. So he's asking, and then all of a sudden, one of our wings says, Coach, I heard that voice too. So I'm sitting there like, oh my God. So you can hear guys in the background like,
no,
just kind of laughing, and I'm like, oh my God. So he said, hold up. He stops the film, turns on the lights, and says, what do you mean you heard a voice? Who said it? Well, later on, evidently one of the coaches had yelled out there to change their protection and didn't own up to it. And so, I mean, I was like, that was a classic one. And then I got one more, and I got to tell myself on this. We used to go to the movies the night before games. Okay.
Yeah.
And so Chiz was not a big. He never went to the movies, but
no.
this particular movie he went to. So he brought Jonna, his wife, with him. So he's sitting in the back, and you know, I'm a sophomore. You know, it's my sophomore year, and I'm starting, and you know, so I forgot. There was a funny scene in the movie, and I never forget this. So I'm sitting back there cutting up, and I'm just laughing and all, not knowing that, you know, and this is vintage Chiz. He's sitting back there watching. And so, you know, I think we played Delta State. It was an early game. And, you know, he called a couple pressures, and I never forget. Me and Trump busted the pressures, you know, and I never forget. I come on the sideline, and Coach Dunn says, hey, Chiz wants to talk to you. And he is, oh my gosh. I mean, it's so I never forget the next day, Sunday, we have a defensive meeting. So I'm sitting there, and so Chiz has like about 7 or 8 clips, and the whole defense is in there. And so he puts on the clip, he says, yeah, I got my safety right here, Perry Eliano, and he's supposed to be blitzing the B gap. He's blitzing the A gap. Ha, ha, ha. It's so funny. I mean, he goes on, and I mean, he had like about, and then he gets on trot. Then he comes back to me. And so he had about 7 or 8 clips of us just screwing up our responsibilities in the defense. So every time he'd run the clip and show what we were supposed to do, and then we didn't do it, he said, yeah, but he's Mr. Funny Guy. Ha, ha, ha. And he just, oh, my God. And so to this day, the voices special teams meeting and the defensive meeting where it was Mr. Funny Guy, those guys back then can remember that like it was yesterday. And, obviously me and Chiz, we laugh about it now, but it wasn't funny at the time.
No. You know, it was funny. As of today, Chiz is back in coaching.
Yeah.
Matt Brown hired him at North Carolina.
Yeah, I saw that earlier and stuff. And so I knew he was getting that itch. And I'm so happy for him and Jonna. Obviously, Matt Brown is a phenomenal guy to work for. Obviously, they got a lot of relationships all the way back to Texas. And so it's good to see my man Chiz back in it. And obviously, I know he's going to do some phenomenal things there at North Carolina.
I agree. Hardge, do you have about time for segment 2?
No, I don't.
You don't?
No, well, I got to get ready to go to the gym.
Okay, that's right. Yeah. He didn't mean Jim as working out in a suit. He means Jim as going to call a basketball game.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Hey, much love. By the time segment 2 rolls around, you probably will be present because your feed will catch up with us.
Yeah, that's a good one right there. You might be correct. Hey, man, it's always good seeing you, brother. I'm so proud of you. Continue success and continue to push. And I'm gonna get your number from Sean, and I'll stay in touch, bro.
Yeah, let's definitely link up, Mike. Good to see you, brother.
You too, man.
Hey,
be good.
I appreciate you, man. Have a good call, man. And it's gonna be hard, Stephen F. and Tarleton.
I know it's going to be a rough one, man, but I already know what the deal is. I've been watching and paying attention. They're going to have some problems, both teams.
I'm not going to ask you. I'm not going to put you on the spot to be biased, man. You're being paid for by another entity.
And I'm going to get my check, dog.
Hey, George, man, be safe in Stephenville.
All right, later.
Later, bud. Hey, Perry, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll do some rapid-fire things on the other side, and we'll talk about the modern world of college football with Perry Eliano. That's on the other side of this break. For all of your insurance needs, look no further than our primary sponsor, Jim Saxton State Farm Insurance Agency. The ATX OG has been insuring Austin for over 3 decades. And get this, Jim Saxton is a Longhorn legacy. He is the son of the late, great James Saxton, who was a Heisman finalist. Be sure to give him a call, or better yet, visit his website, saxtoninsurance.com, and tell him that the Stories Inside the Man Cave Boys recommended you. Mustard Seed Mountain Ministries. The origin of the name, well, it's quite a story, a moving one at that. It's rooted to a mom who has a passion for photography, a mom whose daughter is battling pediatric cancer. Capturing these special moments throughout this bout inspired an idea to capture the same moments for other families who have children experiencing the same fight. You can help support this tremendous organization by attending this benefit on Saturday, February 5th at the Lone Oak Barn in Round Rock, Texas. For $20, you'll experience a day of family fun with live music, a barbecue plate, just to name a few, and you'll get to view some of these powerful photos. Learn more about this event and about Mustard Seed Mountain Ministries by visiting their Facebook page and their website, which is also linked on their Facebook page as well. Well, Perry, I was really hoping to see Hardge's feed catch up with us here. Mimicking, that was hilarious. Like a ventriloquist.
I was wondering what was going on.
That was hilarious. Oh, my God, that was funny.
Oh,
Hey,
yeah.
just a reminder, segment 2 here brought to you by farmhousedelivery.com, organic meats, produce sourced here in Texas. Go to the website, fill your cart up, and at the end, use the promo code MANCAVE for 20% off your first order. Now, Perry Eliano, you are at Cincinnati at the right time. Now, I know the name of the game is to continue your ascension as far as progress in your coaching career, which you've done throughout all of it. But you guys, as a program, are joining, basically becoming a Power 5 conference now. With the future of the Big 12, when you saw that announcement and you guys aligning, because honestly, Cincinnati has been playing like a Power 5 for quite a few years now. What's your take? What can you say as a coach? The view, what have you guys been discussing as far as now the future, not only of Cincinnati, but of the Big 12?
Well, obviously, great respect for the Big 12, done a phenomenal job. It's exciting. The city was in a buzz when the announcement came. Obviously, as a coach, that just gives you a jolt of energy because, we've been recruiting where, obviously it takes players. We've been recruiting at a high level. Coach Fickell has, established a great blueprint, for our plan of attack when it comes to as far as getting the very best here at Cincinnati. So when we got that news that we're going to the Big 12 and a lot of, the conversations that we've had going into homes was always, well, you're still group of 5. And so to be able to check that box off and say, hey, we're with the big boys now, so to speak, even though we might have been playing like the big boys. But now we're official where we can go into any home, and say, hey, we're in the Big 12. You get to play Power 5 football, the best of the best. And so we're extremely excited. Obviously, we had a lot of momentum going into this 2022 recruiting class and got a tremendous amount of momentum and traction with the 2023s. And, obviously can't wait to get on the road here in another week or so to start establishing our footprint, not only to finish off this 2022 class, but also the 2023. But it's exciting. Obviously Cincinnati's always had success here, in different conferences along the way. But to have the trajectory now to be a part of the Big 12 and, to be, just a Power 5 school and the success we've had and we will, hopefully continue to have with the type of young men that we're bringing in here to the Queen City. We're looking forward to it. It's exciting. I'm excited. Like I said, Coach Fickell's awesome to work for. And then John Cunningham, our AD, is giving us all the necessary tools and resources. And obviously, getting ready to build, and have it completed in 2 years, a brand new football facility.
Wow.
So,
see, I didn't know about that.
So that's coming down the pipe. And so looking forward to that. And then President Pinto, our president, he's awesome. And so we've got the support, we got the backing, and so great things on the horizon here at Cincinnati.
I hope you stay in Cincinnati long enough for me to come visit because I to be honest, I've never been. I've heard great things about the city.
Yeah, we definitely got to go downtown and get a steak then.
Yeah. Hey,
you just let me know. I got the perfect place for me and you.
You know what? Let's go. We'll do that this summer. Go to a Reds game.
Awesome.
I'm an MLB guy.
I love it.
Well, college football, then MLB. That's what we're,
Let's do it.
That's great. So, and this is a subject that you can only speak of from a surface level. I'm not even going to put you in this situation, but how has name, image, and likeness changed how you approach recruiting? Because it's now, correct me if I'm wrong. As a coach, you can't go into a living room or to a recruit. You cannot talk about it, correct?
Well, no, you can talk about it. Obviously, it's a hot topic and rightfully so. For so many years, Sean, we've always talked about how, yes, you're on full scholarship, but as a student athlete, the number of hours that you put into your craft and not truly being able to work a full-time job. And yes, you get on scholarship and yeah, you have some type of money in your pocket, but the cost of living is going up and the cost of doing business is going up. So, then, they came up with cost of attendance. Okay. Yeah. Cost of attendance. Great. But I think if a young man does the things that he's capable of doing on the football field and has the ability to allow the name on the back of his jersey to create revenue for him, you know, I think it's only right, you know. And I think initially, you know, a lot of people kind of, turn their nose up a little bit. Like, okay, this is going to create an issue. Well, you're talking about a small percentage of your team that is really, really profiting off of the NIL, you know, and so obviously, you know, a young man like a Sauce Gardner, who I coached, who has his own clothing line, you know, and you're talking about a young man that's
good for him,
you know, an All-American that's playing at a high level, who never allowed those outside entities to distract him from doing his job on the field, you know, and being able to put money in his pocket. You're talking about our quarterback, Desmond Ridder, you know, who was able to make a name for himself and, you know, create revenue off of name, image, and likeness. So, you know, I think it's great for our players. They deserve it, you know, and we have the resources in place to at least guide them to where it doesn't become a distraction and a hindrance from what they have to do on the field, as well as continue to get in their education. So I'm for it. I you know, as a former college athlete, I wish they had it back then, but you know, I'm for it, you know, and like I said, you're not talking about everybody on the team. It's a small percentage of your guys that really and truthfully are going to profit off of this.
Well, I'm all for it 100%. I just think that there's too much information out there, misinformation, because I'll be honest with you, I've had to back off of Twitter some, just not back off, but just siphon through some of the people's opinions. And because it's false. I mean, it's initial reaction, because it's again, it's not the school paying the money.
Right.
It's organizations or 501(c)(3)s. They may be fans or alumni, but the school's not paying.
Absolutely. And that's the, you know, I think the realm we're getting into right now, Sean, is now I think it's giving our guys that have a potential to go to the National Football League a business model, so to speak. You know, if I've got a restaurant here in Cincinnati that wants me to put my name on their product and say, hey, you know, we're going to pay you X amount of dollars. Now, they're not doing that for just any Joe Schmo. They're doing it for guys that are actually highly productive and very visible on the football field.
Yeah.
And so I think, you know, if a business wants to do that, you know, and it falls along the lines of the legality of the NCAA and the taxes and all of that, then so be it, you know. And I think it's up to the programs to make sure that they have the pieces and resources in place that it doesn't, you know, get all out of whack and all crazy. And I think individuals that's not directly involved with it may have a skewed opinion, because anytime you're talking about paying players, everybody, you know, is like, oh my gosh, what is college football coming to? It's still an amateur sport, but I think just the initial NIL, you know, has been good, you know, and I can only speak for Cincinnati, but it's been good for our guys, and you know, I'm an advocate of it.
100%, and that again, it's something that people are overreacting, and it's also basically, this is how I explain it, is that as a student athlete, rarely do you have an opportunity to work anytime outside of the year. I'm just take football, for example. There's maybe 6 to 7 weeks in the summertime where you can go possibly have a job. How are you going to receive a paycheck or work when these days you've got people going, you can do this, work on create an Instagram and promote a product? Absolutely. Well, how about somebody fund that idea and you represent them on social media or in person? That's what this is. It's totally independent. And that's how I'm interpreting it, or how I try to explain it to people.
You're spot on. Spot on.
Hey, one thing I love, and you've always been, in addition to your humor, it's all about positivity.
Hey, man, tell me something good.
Tell me something good. sponsored by Kevin Hutchison at Realty Austin. Something good, positivity, anything inspiring. Perry Eliano, what do you have?
I just want to encourage, whether you're in the coaching profession or just in the corporate world, anything worth having is going to take a lot of work. And I think, how you respond when you're in the valley is of the utmost importance, because, before I got to Cincinnati, I had been at great places, but just didn't have the opportunity to really, really reap the work that, as me as an individual and as a coach, reap those benefits. And, since being here, our 2-year record, is 22-2. And so, I just persevere, never give up, no matter what the situation may look like. I've been there, I've been there where I didn't have a job, didn't know when the next job, where that was going to come from. But I truly believe if you work hard, you treat people right, you be where your feet are, don't get a job and be looking for the next job, no matter in the coaching world or in the corporate world. Be where your feet are and grow and help others around you grow. And we're in the people business, and we're in the business of raising the next generation and making society a better place with the young men that we coach. And so, I just want to encourage everyone out there, no matter what profession you're in, never give up, no matter how dark it may look, no matter how low you may feel. There's always a way. Just keep pushing, keep going forward, stay positive, and value relationships, and be in the profession you're in for the right reasons, not for the money. Because I believe if you love what you do, you will make the money that you're supposed to make. And I'm a firm believer of that.
Sage advice from the pride of Killeen, Texas. Man, that is, if you go back, and I knew Perry when he was a student athlete at Stephen F. Austin. Guy had tremendous work ethic then, great attitude, fun to be around, and then people just hung around him. And that's why leaders, certain people have that trait. You have always had it. I'll tell you something good, and this is for the wrong reasons. I had COVID and the flu this week. A lot of time alone, brother.
Well, I've been down that road, but it was last year, so I got that out of the way.
I had a lot of time to think, a lot of time to reprioritize some things. And you know what? The things we think that are so bad right now, they're not that bad.
Absolutely.
You get through it. Mental toughness.
You're right.
Will get you through some things.
Right. Absolutely.
And I've got to ask you this, totally out of left field. Cincinnati, for some reason, is known for their chili. Why is that?
It's the real deal. There's a chain here called Skyline Chili.
Ooh, and, I've heard about it.
When I first got here, they said, "Coach, you got it. This is a staple of Cincinnati." And so, I recommend anyone that comes to Cincinnati, you got to do the chili. That's a staple of who we are here in Cincinnati.
And you become a part of the fabric, I can tell.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All recruits in Texas, across the country, give Perry Eliano and Cincinnati a chance. That you'll learn from a wise guy a wise guy in the most positive sense of the imagination, tremendous sense of humor, and has a few lessons in life that everyone can apply. And I'm serious. If anyone is watching this or sees this on social media, Facebook, whatever, and you're still not decided, and maybe you have an offer from Cincinnati, take a chance. This is who will be coaching you if you're a defensive back. Absolutely. Perry, man, I appreciate it, brother.
I appreciate you, Sean, and I don't take it lightly, man. I've always admired you. I've followed you throughout the years, and it's so cool to see what you're doing. And man, I appreciate you. And I still go back and remember those days in Nacogdoches like they were yesterday. So I appreciate you, brother. And anytime.
Hey, much love to you and your family. And I'm serious. Here in about a month or two, we'll start planning a summer trip when you have time off, and I'll come up for a 3 or 4 day weekend in Cincinnati.
Let's do it.
Hey, let's do it, brother. Tell your family hello. And for the OG Man Cave boys, that being Big Mike, Coach Mo, and HardballHardge, who was with us in segment 1. And for the great lumberjack that he is, the Perry Eliano, Cincinnati cornerbacks coach, we are out.
You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up.